And hello again. Wow. I'm being productive with these today. This is gonna be my fourth video in a row. That's why there's gonna be fucking purple t-shirts. These four videos. Because Dessa just wanted comfy. Because I started this at probably like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's been a minute. So it is now 8:05 a.m. Sunday the 21st of July. We're almost into August. Which makes me feel sad for a second because Tom's birthday's the 5th. And I know Mom wants to do something for that. And it's gonna suck. Not spending time with her, just it's the first birthday without him. But let's talk about anger rumination. I have an article that I read from. I'm going to read the notes that I took, but I will also be linking the article down below. It's from the Autism Awareness Center. I think I go right into the notes about why. Let's see. Okay, this will be the second note that I'm making with my onboard app. Thank you, Samsung. But I just had to take a nap. That was fun, but I was feeling exhausted after a couple things happening today. There was the health coach thing. I forget what else happened that day. Oh, the stuff with my meds, which I get into. So I wanted to go over some stuff separately for my Let's Talk About series. And this one will be anger rumination. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But something happened today, and it kind of threw me for a bit of a loop, and it made me kind of upset and a little agitated. I was able to mask that for the most part, and I think I did very well, but at the end of it, I was just feeling exhausted, so I decided to take a nap, and I think I was able to find what was going on with me, and I wanted to talk about it, and maybe some other folks will go, yep, that's exactly what it was, and I go through it too. So I get it as well. Or people could be like, well, that's not actually what you went through. You went through this, and then I can look it up and then cover that instead. But what prompted this was I had a medication hiccup today. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I had contacted my doctor to get my ADHD medication refilled. And because the systems are still wonky, I called the office about it. I have to do it by month because of the fact that it's a controlled substance, and also my Medicare, partly. They're kind of an asshole about medication to begin with, so there's extra hoops. But I told them it was 36 milligrams twice a day, because that's what we agreed upon the last time, and that's what my script was this past month. I think it's been helping that the fact that it's been twice a day, so I couldn't see any reason to switch it at this point. So, when the nurse was taking my message, asked me, that's when I told her, but whoever sent it to Walgreens put it to the one that I had been taking previously, which was 56 milligrams once a day. And Mom's best friend, Jenny, was nice enough to pick it up. And she called me while I was waiting for her downstairs, and she told me, and I could immediately start feeling myself feeling not quite panic. I'm kind of feeling that again now, and it's a little bit of that, but it's also agitation, because that it's not that it wasn't in my message. I was very clear. Why is this going wrong? But, I'm not discussing it with Ginny. I'm keeping as calm as I possibly can, especially since she's also dealing with the pharmacist. They're just trying to make sure it says 56. It's supposed to be 36, but it says 56. Yes, I just had one. They had said I was taking it twice a day. Does the same? This transcriber needs to do better. Or maybe I have to make sure that I'm using an earpiece next time and see if it picks up my words better. But basically, I was trying to make sure that it wasn't increased. Like maybe Dr. Martin decided to do 56 twice a day. But no, it was just 56 once a day instead of what was supposed to be the 36 twice a day. And so I was growing increasingly unhappy. I said, oh, okay, pick it up because I'm going to need it, because I was down to my last 2 for today and I wasn't going to have any for tomorrow. Might as well pick it up. I'll call Dr. Martin's office. I was trying to get things sorted. I left a message, but I could feel myself wanting to just kind of get upset because I did not mess this up. I remember the conversation clearly me and Dr. Martin had about this. We dropped the dosage down and moved it to twice a day because we're still trying to find a dose that was going to help me, and I felt like this was helping me, and we might need a slight increase in the future. And I was going to discuss that the next time I saw him. But doing it twice a day seemed to be giving me more focus. So, I wanted that, and why is this happening? I didn't understand, so I left the message. His nurse calls me back, and she's telling me, well, it's down for 56 milligrams once a day. And I was like, I don't understand why that is, because for the last month I've been taking 36 twice a day. We had just discussed this. When I saw him about a month ago. That's when we decided to do this. And she's like, well, I'll talk to him. And I was like, okay. She calls me back. I'm not even sure she's talking to him. And I understand that he's probably busy because it's before the holiday weekend. But she calls back and she's like, oh, well, I looked into the logs and you were right. It was supposed to be 36 milligrams twice a day. Why then was this prescription written out and they didn't look at that? If it wasn't Dr. Martin, whoever was writing this for him, why didn't they look at this? I don't understand. So it was too late at that point, because it was already picked up and my insurance wasn't going to pay for another prescription. So I basically told her that I would just take this script for the month because, my insurance wasn't going to let me do another prescription. Not that soon. And next time I would make sure that they had the dosage correct. Let's see. I'm still not even 100% certain what happened, and I think that's why the agitation is bubbling up again. So I found an article on the autismawarenesscenter.com that talks about what is anger rumination, and I think it's written more in the perspective of a caregiver of someone with autism as opposed to someone with autism trying to find answers for themselves. I'm going to read through this because there might be someone watching this, because this will be used for recording that is not... I wish I had had the time to actually make these notes more concise. I apologize. But basically, what I was thinking is I was going to read through the article, because whether it's someone like me just trying to understand themselves a bit better, or someone who gives care to someone with autism, just wanting to understand that person a bit better, that maybe this video would help them just understand. Because I feel like it helped me understand a little bit better. Not so much, there's not really anything I can do to fix it if I am to go through it, but it's at least good to be mindful of it. What is anger rumination, and how does it affect individuals with autism spectrum disorder? Have you ever experienced challenging behavior like a meltdown, hostility, anger, or aggression when supporting a person with autism spectrum disorder? Did the incident seem to come out of the blue? More than likely, there was a trigger that you didn't notice, or something that was building for a period of time. That something could be anger rumination. What is anger rumination? Anger rumination is a cognitive, emotional process referring to the tendency to dwell on frustrating experiences and recall past anger experiences. I cited someone. It represents a maladaptive form of emotion processing that entails remaining focused on the stressor through repetitive and passive dwelling upon distress, past mistakes, regrets, and shortcomings. Such it is. You know what? I'm just going to read the article. I will get better about the notes. I will. But it did not transcribe things well. What is anger rumination, and how does it affect individuals with autism spectrum disorder? Have you ever experienced challenging behavior like a meltdown, hostility, anger, or aggression when supporting a person with autism spectrum disorder? Did the incident seem to come out of the blue? More than likely, there was a trigger that you didn't notice, or something that was building for a period of time. That something could be anger rumination. What is anger rumination? Anger rumination is a cognitive, emotional process referring to the tendency to dwell on frustrating experiences and recall past anger experiences. Sokoldevsky et al. 2001. More generally, rumination represents a maladaptive form of emotional processing that entails remaining focused on the stressor through repetitive and passive dwelling upon distress, past mistakes, regrets, and shortcomings. Nolan Hoskema, 1991. Nolan Hoskema et al. 2008. Rumination may inhibit the use of cognitive control strategies such as reappraisal, being able to assess something or someone again or in a different way, and problem solving due to the prolongation of emotional distress. Anger rumination can deplete self-regulatory resources, leading to reduced behavioral inhibition. Cashden et al. 2009. Social anxiety could also lead to anger rumination, which in turn could lead to hostility or expressions of anger. Anger rumination is also positively correlated with autism symptom severity. It is also associated with poorer functioning, including more depression symptoms and overall emotional and behavioral dysregulation. Patel et al. 2017. Rumination may also be a factor in other forms of challenging behavior, such as disruptive behaviors, irritability, anger, and aggression. Preservation. Repetitive thoughts and dwelling on negative incidents can make a person become stuck. This fixation can also be called preservation. Preservative thoughts can happen because a person may be trying to manage stress, process information, shift attention, can't stop thinking about certain things, or can't control behaviors. Preservation may look like worrying about something that might happen because it happened in the past, having difficulty getting past being angry or scared, continuing to ask the same question long after getting an answer to the question, going over previous conversations or interactions in the mind, also known as looping thoughts, something I do, repeating an action over and over again, also known as repetitive or restrictive behaviors, repeatedly talking about something that happened a long time ago, giving the same answer to a different set of questions, even if it makes no sense. Sometimes when I get upset, I believe I at least exhibit some of these behaviors. Not just that, but in general, I referred to my thought processes like a monorail in the past, that it kind of loops around my head, that thoughts get on, thoughts get off. You know, sometimes something that was said to me earlier takes a few trips, and then it'll hop off and I'll think about it again later, and I'll have something to say about it at a different point. Or like, it's confusing to a lot of people, but it makes sense to me. So I think when I got upset about the medication, I understood that the computer systems were messed up because of the ransomware attack that Lords / Ascension. And they were still in the process of becoming Lords Guthrie. And so they were working towards that, and like a lot of things had to be on paper. I was very specific about the dosage because I had the bottle right in front of me. I could be specific about the dosage. The dosage was in my files, so the fact that I got the incorrect dosage made me more upset than I understood that I should be. Because especially since it was something that was then out of my control. I mean, being upset wasn't going to help me. It wasn't going to help anyone. But I was upset all the same. And that's sometimes things I've noticed about, like, I know that I talk about a lot of the positives that I find with autism because I know people kind of focus on a lot of the negatives, the behavioral issues that come with autism. But, even I have them to an extent. I just usually do a good job of masking them, and sometimes it's my emotions where they just go from 0 to 60, and it's very sudden. And even though like the logical parts of my brain understand that it shouldn't be like this, I shouldn't be behaving this way, it's not helping, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop things. And so I can at least be mindful of this and apologize to any potential hurt people after the fact. Because sometimes when, people blow their stack, sometimes, people's feelings get hurt. It's a shitty thing, and so I make sure to apologize right away. But I think about the people that aren't as high functioning, and I feel terrible about that because they probably don't understand their actions as well, or understand to apologize. And those people around them that care for them and take care of them, it must be very hard for them. So rumination and mental health issues. Autism spectrum disorders often present with comorbidities, particularly mental health issues. Many mental health conditions can cause rumination, but rumination may also intensify the symptoms of some pre-existing conditions. In an article from Medical News Today, these examples of mental health issues and rumination were given. Depression. A person with depression may ruminate on very negative or self-defeating thoughts. For example, they may obsess over a belief they are unworthy, not good enough, or doomed to fail. I just talked about that in regards to the voice inside my head and the gym and the weight loss surgery and stuff like that. I guess it's good that I'm kind of going backwards on my videos, because I don't think I caught that the first time. So it's like tied together. Anxiety. People with anxiety may ruminate on specific fears, such as the idea that something bad will happen to their family, or they might ruminate more generally, continually scanning their mind for things that might go wrong. I think I made a note about my phobia of dying and wondering if this correlates, if this is why I have the phobia that I have. Obsessive compulsive disorder. People with OCD may feel overwhelmed by intrusive thoughts about things that could go wrong. To relieve these thoughts, they may engage in rituals such as checking door locks, cleaning, or counting. Phobias. People with phobias may ruminate on their fears, especially when they encounter the source of their phobia. For example, a person with a spider phobia may be unable to think about anything but their fear when in the same room as a spider. There have been times I have given myself panic attacks because suddenly I will kind of hyper focus on the thoughts of basically what it would trying to think of what it would feel like being dead, especially when I don't believe in an afterlife, or so it's basically no longer existing. And it's a very morbid thing, and it will lead to panic attacks. It's something I try to avoid even more now that I live by myself, because previously I would at least have Tom to help me feel better during those moments, and I don't have that anymore. Of course, there were the times I would accidentally freak him out, because apparently I would wake up from a nightmare gasping and freaking out, or I would suddenly start crying in the bathroom, because bathroom thoughts, am I right? So yeah. Fuck, I miss him. Schizophrenia. People with schizophrenia may ruminate on unusual thoughts or fears, or they may feel distracted by intrusive voices and hallucinations. A 2014 study found that people with schizophrenia who ruminate on the conditions associated social stigma may be more vulnerable to depression. Rumination, emotional dysregulation, and repetitive or restrictive behaviors. In a recent study, researchers have looked at the association between rumination and repetitive or restrictive behaviors contributing to overall emotional dysregulation in the autism spectrum disorder. They found there may be a common underlying deficit in cognitive control neurocircuitry. Anger rumination may possibly be part of the core of autism spectrum disorder symptoms, particularly repetitive or restrictive behaviors, rigid thinking, insistence on sameness and preservation. Difficulty in stopping preservative thoughts may predispose children with autism spectrum disorder to engage in rumination. Impairments in emotional reactivity and cognitive control in combination with repetitive or restrictive behaviors may inhibit the use of adaptive emotional regulation strategies such as problem solving. These impairments may in turn predispose children with autism spectrum disorder to an increased risk for developing comorbid psychiatric disorders. So, my anxiety might have been a side effect of me not being able to properly work through my autism, I guess. I mean, if I could find an appropriate therapist who has worked with autistic adults, maybe it's something I could discuss. This becomes a cycle because deficits in cognitive control and using maladaptive strategies like rumination can prevent a person from using a more effective strategy like problem solving. Oh, did I just read that again? No, okay. Engaging in anger rumination or ruminative thoughts in general could be tied to deficits in emotional regulation in autism spectrum disorder. The correlation of anger rumination, emotional dysregulation, and repetitive or restrictive behaviors could make children with autism spectrum disorder more susceptible to a risk of disruptive behaviors. What can help with ruminating thoughts? Reduce anxiety. There are many strategies to reduce anxiety, so try using a variety of strategies to build your toolbox. Exercise. Being physically active can reduce stress and increase feelings of well-being. Don't know where to start? Have a look at our physical activity article. This is actually another reason why I really wanted to go to the gym, because do your own research, but there have been lots of correlations of endorphins and other just feel-good things that happen to your body because of exercise, especially if it's an exercise you enjoy doing, swimming, a particular physical activity, sports. If you find something that works for you, do it, because serotonin, it's a thing, and it's a good thing. Get outside in nature. There are a number of studies done on the benefits of nature. Walking in nature can reduce preservative thoughts. My son goes on a hike once a week, and we have seen improvement in his moods. Nature is just awesome. Distraction. While this may not work every time, providing a distraction can take a person's mind off what is bothering them. For my daughter Julia, there are a couple of cat videos that can change her mood instantly. I mean, I want to say who doesn't love cat videos, but if someone doesn't like cat videos, they may be a sociopath. I'm just saying. I'm joking, but who doesn't fucking love cat videos? Talking about favorite topics and interests can stop ruminating thoughts. Distraction is good. Meditation or meditation techniques. I'm sorry, not medication, though, certain medications might help. Our son developed his own over the years to classical music. He spends an hour every Monday meditating in his room. He closes his eyes and breathes deeply. There are also books on mindfulness practice, but keep in mind that not every person with autism can do this successfully. For more ideas on mindfulness, have a look at this article, which will help, or which also has a great reference section. And these are all hyperlinks, so you'll be able to click on them if you click on the article that I will share at the bottom. Develop interoceptive awareness. Interoception is considered to be the eighth sense and tells us a lot about our internal state. Are we hungry, tired, thirsty, hot, cold, or in pain? It is also tied to our emotions and self-regulation. Being able to understand how these emotions feel in the body and mind could also potentially help with rumination. So, and then there is just a little footnote about the fact that they are doing continuing studies on anger rumination, which I think is important, especially since, I mean, I'm just finding out about it. I mean, who knows how many people don't know about it. I mean, it's good to have a name to something, you know? So if you have someone in your life who's on the spectrum, or you think might be on a spectrum, who suddenly seems to have outbursts every once in a while, this might pertain to them. So it might be something you want to look at. So again, of course, I will have... Oh, I have a software update. Well, you're going to have to wait just a little bit, phone. You know, I found the article very interesting, and I wanted to make sure to share it with you guys because, you know, the more that we understand about ourselves, I think, you know, the better functioning we can be, and maybe the less asshole-ish we could be in moments where maybe we shouldn't be. I mean, like, I was able to at least not be upset at people during the whole medication issue. And I'm a little bit proud of myself for that fact, because I didn't want to come off as Karen. Especially since my biological mom's name is Karen. I certainly don't want to be my mom. But, you know, it's just a very tricky thing, you know? But understanding that it's a thing to be mindful of, it helps me now in the future to maybe also curtail potential outbursts if I understand that I'm starting to just like a barometer. No, barometers go down. So like a thermometer. You know, if my temperature is rising, then I need to do something to cool it off quickly, because I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to upset people just because I'm upset. That's not the type of person I am. And if you're watching this, it's probably not the sort of type of person you want to be either. So it's better that we're more mindful about who and what we are. So I hope you enjoyed this little nerd out. Questions, comments, concerns, please drop them down below. Thumbs up, thumbs down, The choice is yours. I'd like it if you hit that subscribe button. Also, maybe some notifications to know when I'm posting. Because hopefully I'm interesting and or entertaining. Preferably both, if I'm being honest. But this is now my 4th video in a row, and I have to now post them for you guys. So, I'm hoping you're having a great weekend. I love you guys. Go fuck yourselves. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.